Hey everyone, welcome to another page in the Desert Plant Diary. I'm Carl. I promised you guys that I would share with you the blooms of this Rhipsalis sulcata. Unfortunately, I was out in the botanical garden trying to buy some plant material and pots as well. And this morning when the second flush had bloomed, I was in church, and by the time I finished with all of the weekend work and got round to recording this, all of the blooms had closed for the day. Nonetheless, perhaps if we have a second flush, I will capture that for you guys. Over here we have the string of hearts. So don't be disheartened, this is in bloom, so that we didn't get to see the other ones, we do this. Very unique looking flower. Looks a bit like the Gasteria. And when I bought this, it was just of a single vine, and what I have done is wound it around this pot, and it's beginning to form those bulb-like things under each of those the point where the leaf meets the stem. I've forgotten the name of that. Is it called the apex? I don't know. So that's a good idea to actually wind on the soil and not necessarily bury it, and it will begin to form those bulbs or cordexes. And once it forms that cordex, you will get a new plant that grows out of that. Over here we have this Cleistocactus winterii, and the reason why I'm showing you this cactus is to share with you one of the things that I have done. Now, I'm in no way an expert when it comes to cacti and succulents. This is just 3 years of experience speaking, growing these, and most of the stuff is self-taught, and the names that I use are might not necessarily be true, because I do my research and get it off the internet. However, something that has worked is this. So while potting this guy up, I filled the pot up to 2/3 of it in charcoal, and it's just the uppermost 1/3 of the pot that is filled with potting medium. And as mentioned in the previous video, you might want to watch that. I use 50% sharp sand and 50% vermicompost. And that's pretty much it. So when I first bought this plant, it was just that and these two guys. And in about 6 to 8 months, if I remember correctly, it's given me about 12 of these offsets. Next in bloom is this Graptovaria Blue Elf. Now, isn't that precious? Tiny as it is, I like the bloom on that one. So let's get to what I promised you guys I would do. I took you on a plant tour of these guys, and in that video I mentioned that I would share another video with these guys, and that's what I'm going to do today. So let's get started. So over here we've got an assortment of crested euphorbias, all of the Lactea family. You've got the variegata here, and that is also a variegate, almost albino. Very, very beautiful. And no wonder it's nicknamed the coral cactus. It does look like coral. Another one over here. One at the back. And this is the Euphorbia Leidenbergensis. Those names get me all the time. A Montrose series, a Euphorbia griseola. I love the Euphorbia family now because there's quite a wide range in them. The watch chain Crassula, also called Crassula lycopoerioides. So it started off in this pot as a tiny cutting, which I thought I would pot up later, and it spread from that plant to the next, to the next, to the next, and it's possibly going to take all of these up like a weed. Over here we have the Orbea Samota, and it was in bloom and it's closing for the day, so let the poor guy sleep. It was a beautiful flower, an Echinocereus which gives purple flowers. Very, very beautiful one. The Medusoid Euphorbia, very commonly available version. Now these three plants that you see over here, the Crassula ovata, the Echeveria imbricata, and the Sedum Morganianum burrito, were given to me by Sharanya. Thank you, Sharanya. They seem to be really happy in my house. And I haven't forgot that I'm going to give you something in exchange too. So I will surprise you with the collection that I have for you. Perhaps the baseball cactus. Now I've taken this guy and these two pups of this grafted parent, because when I tried to move it, or I think it was raining that day and that toppled over and some of the pups begin to get a little loose, and so I thought it best to pluck them off and let that plant heal and then pot them up, and they seem to be doing pretty okay. And the other pups that you see in this pot are from this Raybutia, which gives me beautiful red flower sometime in May. An astro cactus there, aptly known the bishop's cap, because it does look like that. The brain cactus, a dwarf agave, very, very beautiful guy. When I first bought him, it was just this one. It's beginning to offset beautifully for me. It's a Tephora cactus articulatus, and this is also called the paper spine cactus. The interesting thing about this and most of the cacti and succulents is they look very, very prehistoric. An unknown plant there, perhaps belongs to the Orchidillo family. Plants that broke off that I have rooted. An unknown Opuntia, a beauty, it looks like it's almost glowing like the sun. Euphorbia greenwayii. A crested Notocactus scopa inermis, and a crested and perhaps also monstrose. Not a beautiful cactus there, perhaps an Opuntia mocampa, what we're looking at now. The very, very popular and the very, very beautiful agave Victoria reginae, named after Queen Victoria. And why would that not deserve a royal name for that kind of beauty? Just look at those markings. Imagine that in a dark blue cobalt ceramic pot or a black pot with black pebbles covering the soil. Very, very beautiful. A chimera. So the bottom is obviously of the dragon fruit cactus, and the upper part is a gymnocalycium. And the reason why they call this a chimera is you take the gymnocalycium, which is round, and you take the bottom one, and you let me try and capture that. The growth that you see is a mix of both of the plants, and that's why it's called a chimera. A crested Notocactus lenamgozii. At the back you've got a Euphorbia nerifolia in the center, and at the back is the same plant in its crest form. Agave Lophantha quadricolor gets the fourth color when exposed to sun and water is reduced. You can see hints of pink at the bottom, on the bottom leaves. A Monstrose cereus, perhaps the Peruvianus, some more crests, and Opuntia, perhaps the tunicata, Euphorbia rothbii, something between a Euphorbia millii and something else. Very, very nice. Beautiful guy. Perhaps a mellow cactus there, another Notocactus lenamgozii. Either this one or this one is the Decarii Euphorbia. And this is the Euphorbia cylindrifolia, a Euphorbia François, a gymnocactus that's forming bud, the brain cactus, the astrophytum, also known as the bishop's cap. I have a feeling I've showed this to you already. So the Mammillaria elongata, this might be the copper king, an Echinopsis, Notocactus magnificus, variegated form. Very easy to find this form of variegation in our country. The brain cactus again, peanut cactus. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this earlier. This was gifted to me by my friend Parvati, when she moved to Australia. Thank you, Parvati. You're doing pretty well. And thank you for the other two too. Portulocaria afro-variegata, a variegated form of the dragon fruit cactus. Isn't that just stunning? I can't wait for this to be potted up in a bigger pot and just let it go wild and be free. A Mammillaria prolifica, and that is a crest. A degrafted Gymnocalycium, doing very, very well. That was the chance I took with that cactus, and it's doing pretty well. Another Euphorbia François, a Euphorbia fructuosa, a Euphorbia enlopa or enolpa, one of the two. Another Opuntia, the cylindrical type of Opuntia. An unknown Crassula. A few cuttings of the Euphorbia lactea, and the one at the back, the red one, is the cultivar Dragon. Melocactus. Got a nice cephalium on top, and this thing tends to give you a lot of seed, and they pretty much they self-germinate. You can see quite a few at the back, because the sun does not hit that area. Now the series Monstros, either this one or this one is the Rojo series. Muzzlocactus geometrizans. I'm running out of storage space. I'm going to wrap this up. Another crested Euphorbia lactea. Baseball cactus, a crest there. Perforata, Crassula. Variegated cactus. A Runyonii, and this is a crest. Put my hand there for comparison. That's a huge, huge, huge crest. Very large. An Astrophyton. Another Astrophyton. Gymnocalycium hostii. Gymnocalycium S. Astrophytum C. Capricornii, something like that. A Huernia, unknown one, and that's in bloom. Nasty smell on those guys. Another crest. The Bowia plant has grown quite well. Give me some flower this year as well. Stapelia grandiflora or gigantea, one of the two. A truncata, and that's in bud under the blazing sun. Watchain, perforata, Nasbaumrianum, sedum Nasbaumrianum. Those two are Crassulas. Crassula crossbees compacts. Euphorbia tortirama, an unknown plant. Crassula ovata golem. Crassula ovata variegata. A Euphorbia, I think it's the Gunterii. Another crest, very, very beautiful, the sun hitting it from that place. A Monstros Sirius, cultivar named Camelot. And in this pot of this crested cacti, you can see some Echeveria have managed to hit a ride. The very, very famous Burgessii, the Monstros, also called the... Okay, let me not get to that name. It's a little vulgar. Another plant over there. Euphorbia trigona variegata. Greenwayi in flower or seed. Let me focus. There you go. Another Euphorbia. Kalanchoe tomentosa. This Euphorbia pseudocactus. And finally this Euphorbia. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you've seen these plants and you get inspired to start or continue your collection of your own. So thank you guys for watching all the way from the Garden City of India. Here's me wishing you guys a lot of strength and inspiration to get out in your garden, get your plant mojo on, and do something fantastic today. Cheers. Have a good week.